It's the Thursday evening edition of the Valley's most in-depth weather forecast video. We call it Weather for Weather Geeks. After all, if you're watching this video, chances are you're kind of into the weather, or maybe you just like having more detailed forecasts in your life than you can find on any weather app or on television as well. You know, on TV I'm limited by time, of course, and on this video I can take a deep dive into whatever I feel like talking about. We're going to talk a lot about Friday and the weekend in this video, but first, let's just review today's weather, and it went pretty much as expected today with clouds. Some sun tried to develop at times. The clouds started to thin quite a bit towards the tail end of the afternoon. It actually made for a really nice sunset this evening. Thanks to everyone who shared sunset pictures with us this evening. These mid-level clouds being illuminated from underneath by the setting sun made for a really colorful sunset around 5 p.m. These are not the real low stratocumulus clouds like we had most of yesterday. These are more mid-level clouds, and therefore it was not quite as gloomy outside today, and temperatures got back into the mid-40s. But actually, when you zoom out and take a look at the lower 48 states, there's just a lack of true Arctic air. It's not really cold anywhere across the U.S., with the exception of northern New England. It's up in the far reaches of Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont that it's down in the teens and 20s. But otherwise, you know, you look across the lower 48 states, and there's just not much cold on the playing field. So where is it? It's on the other side of the pole. The polar vortex has wobbled and weakened some, and actually it's deposited a lot of the true Arctic air on the other side of the pole in Russia, in Siberia. These are actual air temperatures. These aren't wind chills. There's some, reporting stations here in the heart of Siberia that are minus 40 to minus 50, almost minus 60 in some spots. Of course, there's not many thermometers in these areas, but the depiction on the colors here will give you a hint. We're at the very end of our color scale here. There's probably some places that are legit minus 55, minus 60 degrees in here. So that's where all the cold is for the time being. It's probably going to stay that way for at least another week to 10 days, and it may be until after the first of the year that we see any sort of pronounced pattern change across North America, and including in the eastern United States. In the meantime, what a winter we have coming up on Friday. We'll start the day with a few fair weather clouds, but the afternoon looks bright and sunny. Clouds will quickly increase by the evening, but they'll be pretty unproductive clouds. Now, there could be a passing shower Saturday. No big deal. Most of the day will be just fine. The bigger show comes Saturday night and into Sunday. What's been happening with our computer models? If you've been watching my video and following forecasts over the last few days, we've kind of had the windshield wiper effect going, where the models speed up this front, then slow it down, speed it up, slow it down. We're coming into pretty good agreement now that rain's going to push in, maybe not as early as, say, 6 or 7 Saturday evening, but maybe later in the evening and heading into the overnight. And once it starts raining, it's just going to rain for several hours pretty consistently into at least Sunday morning. And actually, the front now looks like it'll hang up and be just slow enough that we're going to continue that chance for rain into the afternoon. And also with the front a little bit slower, we're going to hang on to the air that will support rain longer. In other words, we're not going to see a transition from rain to snow in most spots in our part of Ohio and western Pennsylvania Sunday afternoon. Now, there might be a few wet snowflakes in the mix by sunset, but a true changeover to snow doesn't seem like it's in the cards. It may just be a situation where rain ends as rain Sunday evening. And then the cold air makes inroads and we start to see some lake effect flurries and snow showers later Sunday night into Monday morning. But through the daylight hours Sunday, just expecting rain for the most part. Wet roads. It's going to be a lot colder. Temperatures will fall after a morning high near 50. We'll end up kind of hovering in the upper 30s to around 40 for a lot of the day Sunday. Pretty healthy drink of water. Now, a couple of our more aggressive models here, including the NAM and GFS, are suggesting up to 2 inches worth of rain. I think that's a little too aggressive. I think we're going to be kind of more in this zone. Probably an inch to an inch and a half will be a pretty good average as far as the rainfall totals in our area. So not real concerned about flooding problems because it's kind of a long duration event. It's not all coming at once or anything like that, but this will be, the most rain that we've had in any one shot in quite a while in our area. So temperatures over the weekend before the front passes through, some of us might hit 60 Saturday afternoon, especially if you get some pronounced holes in the clouds, which I think is a distinct possibility. Around midday, early afternoon, your car thermometer might say 61, 62, even 63 in some spots, especially in our southern viewing area Saturday afternoon. But then we go in the wrong direction Sunday. The morning high is 49 or 50. We end up hovering in the upper 30s to around 40. And then as the colder air really makes inroads later Sunday night into Monday, I do think there'll be some snow showers and flurries around. Now, accumulations locally should be pretty modest. I think we're under in a couple of inches, maybe even less than an inch in a lot of spots. But Could there be some slick surfaces in some spots Sunday night into Monday morning? I think that's possible. Perhaps the best chance would be over here in western PA, the I-80 corridor, and especially up I-79, closer to Meadville, closer to Erie. And I still think that the heaviest amounts of snow overall are likely to be along the spine of the Appalachians and heading up into interior parts of New England as well. So again, the snow aspect of this should not be a real big deal, but we might have to watch for some slick surfaces Sunday night into Monday morning. But I'll tell you, we look at the next few weeks, and while we are expecting a cooler pattern to start to emerge around the holidays, to me, we're starting to see trends on the modeling that postpones the true colder air until later and later. So it may be until after the first of the year before we see a bona fide pattern change. Once it clicks in, it's probably going to be pretty significant. I would expect a turn towards much colder weather at some point, but instead of at the very end of December, it might be more so into January. And so the holiday period is starting to trend less cold. Could it be cold enough to support snow in time for Christmas or between Christmas and New Year's? I think that's possible. Today is only the 7th, so we're way out into the future here. So everything I'm saying is just speculation. I think it's possible, but I am becoming a little more confident that we're going to hang on to the generally mild conditions for at least another couple of weeks and maybe even a little bit longer. As far as precipitation, very dry week next week, high pressure in control. After Monday, we should be high and dry Tuesday through at least Friday next week. And, once we get out into weeks 3 and 4 and closer to Christmas, then, it's hard to say as far as precipitation goes. But, yeah, again, if you're hoping for a white Christmas, we're not going to close the book on that by any stretch of the imagination. But the true, really cold Siberian Express kind of pattern, that may wait until 2024. In the meantime, thanks for watching on this Thursday evening. Coming up on Friday, we'll take a look at the weekend, the timing of everything. Again, we'll fine-tune those hourly rain chances, talk a little bit more about the snow chances Sunday night into Monday, and much, much more. Hope to see you then. Have a great rest of your night.